I really, really wanted to like the Frieza Saga. I really wanted it to be good. I honestly did. But man, it sucks to say that this show's even better than good. This is part 3 of me watching all of Dragon Ball Z. You can click the card. I'll put it somewhere here, but I have a playlist of all the other videos I've made on my DBZ series. I'm watching all of the sagas going through. So we just finished up the Namek Saga. We did the Saiyan Saga obviously before that. And this is my review on, guess what? Wow, bang, the Frieza Saga. Cool. Let's do it. Now, if you didn't see my last video where I talked about my feelings and review of the Namek Saga, first of all, fuck you. Go watch it. Second of all, I really liked the Namek Saga. I thought it was extremely well done. I pretty much enjoyed everything about it. And to say that I was hyped for the Frieza Saga is honestly a gosh darn understatement. And I can't lie. I'm loving Dragon Ball Z right now. It's super, super good. And I'm not going to shy away from the fact that I think the previous sagas have all been pretty well balanced in terms of the action to like story ratio. I never felt like we were getting too much story or too little story or too much action or anything like that. I felt like it was pretty well balanced for the most part. And for this saga, honestly, Toriyama said, fuck you guys, we're doing only action, fuck story, fuck narrative, fuck plot, fuck Frieza, we're doing fuck Cooler, we're doing all this shit right now. I'm gonna make these characters beat the living shit out of each other, and you're gonna like it. You're gonna watch it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna watch it for like, what is it, like fucking 40 episodes, 50 episodes? I don't fucking know. It's right here, but point is, you're gonna watch these two dudes beat the shit out of each other, and I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was great. Now, obviously, I'm just fucking lying. There's still story here, but it's really, really toned down in my opinion, and not really showcased as heavily as the action is. But that's fine. Like I said, we spent the last few sagas heavily pushed into action and story, so I did feel like getting a nice saga with just action and just cool visuals was a well-given gift for us watchers, you know? But it's fine. We've been getting sagas that are mixed with both action and story, so to get one that's just focused on one is fine. And I do think getting a lot of action this early in the show is good. It keeps watchers kind of attention, it keeps watchers looking and kind of waiting for that big fight to finally happen, and here it finally does. And it's also time for a lot of the story and hype that they've been building off of for Frieza to finally pay off. And I will say the saga does do a great job at giving us story in between the fights and also before and after. And that is something I really want to talk about real quick before we get into the saga. Why the fuck does everyone say that this show only has fight scenes in it? I remember a few years ago when I was considering watching the show before, and everyone was just like, oh, it's
only good for the fights. You only care about the fights. I'm only in it for the fights. Like, that's all it is.
like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? This show has such a good story, and I don't get why no one talks about it. And this show is honestly some of the best, like, developing background story stuff for characters that I've seen in a long time. And the show does a really good job at world developing and giving backstory to characters and stuff like that throughout the fight. Because you have a show like Naruto that's, like, super fucking good, right? You have, you know, it's like,
Oh my god, there's one ball in the sky. Ah!
and then it's like,
Oh shit, there's two balls in the sky. Oh my god.
and then the next 15 episodes is like Naruto walking a fucking old lady across the street. DBZ does a good job at going back and forth from action to story in a way that doesn't make me bored and doesn't make me resent watching 500 episodes of anime. So the fight scenes here, point is, they kick fucking ass. But you know that. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that Dragon Ball has kick-ass fight scenes, right? But before we dive into the whole action shit and get really into that, I want to talk real quick about the story shit that has to do with the Namekian dragon. We have my boy Day and Krillin out there summoning, I think his name is, I can't read, where is it? Purunga. Now I have to say, this whole dragon shit is super fucking cool. I was a little bit like, meh, when they talked about summoning a different dragon on planet Namek, just because I felt like that's kind of a cheat. They're just pulling in the same dragon from Earth. Like, of course, it's just more like a technicality thing. I fucking love that we get a different dragon here. It does what I said that the other sagas do, where they develop the world further and further and further in a way that obviously planet Earth isn't the only planet with a dragon. There's bound to be other dragons or other types of things like that out in the world, because the world is a big, vast universe, right? Because if it was just Shenron that they were opening again on planet Namek from Earth or something like that, it would make the world just feel so tiny and small, because the same guy from literally like hundreds of thousands of light years or whatever away is fucking over here now too. Like, that's kind of lame. So I do like that the writing, and I'm really fucking proud of Toriyama or whatever here, because this is like such a small thing. Them having a different dragon just makes the world feel so much bigger than if it was just Shenron. Not to say I don't like Shenron, but it's an opportunity to grow the world, and they do it here, and that's really great. Now, if we did get Shenron on planet Namek, I don't think I would be upset about it. I would be like, oh, it's Shenron. That's cool. That's great. Not a big deal, right? But the show was like,
Fuck Shenron. Here's a newer, more cool fucking dragon, because guess what? Earth isn't the only fucking planet in the universe, bitch. Like, what did you think?
point is, this show does a really good job at just pushing the fact that there is cool shit all around us, all over us, in terms of the universe and the world of DBZ. Not physically, obviously. Unless you do have a lot of cool shit around you, then sure, I guess. It's also really dope how this man Gohan finds a way to just kind of like get absolutely fucking shit on. by every villain in pretty much every saga leading up to this one, at least so far. I will say though, I do love the character development he's getting within these ass beatings. It's really good. And I will also say Vegeta holding his own against Frieza for as long as he did until Goku shows up did make him seem way more cool and also way more dope than how I kind of initially saw him. I honestly thought he was like a weak little bitch. And this saga kind of made me take him a little more seriously. I wouldn't say it made me respect him more as a character, but it made me for sure think of him as more of a threat, not only to the world, but also kind of to Goku a little bit in a way that just, you know, if someone could take Goku, it might be Vegeta. At least right now. Just right now. Obviously, I'm not talking about Super or anything crazy like that. I also think one of the hardest lines that's in this saga is when Vegeta openly admits that Goku is the legendary Super Saiyan and that Goku's the one that's going to defeat him. This is probably just one of the coolest moments, not only because we get just a super hard line period, but obviously we have this huge moment of Vegeta kind of openly being like, yeah, like I'm probably not the one that's going to win, so that guy will probably win instead. It's his moment of kind of realization and also kind of admitting like almost a defeat in a way, which I feel like is character development for Vegeta. Will he learn from that? Probably not. And obviously when Goku pops up, it gets fucking horde, you know, right? And Frieza versus Goku is such a good matchup. Obviously throughout the fight, Goku's using like his Kaioken, and while he's doing that, Frieza's also leveling up and getting stronger and stronger, right? So the back and forth between them is really interesting here. I think most animes that do this do it in a really boring, kind of just like blah way, but it works so well here. I think it's a mixture of a few things. First, we were hyped as fuck to see Goku like get the fuck out of that chamber, and also not to say he didn't do anything in Planet Namek, but I do think there was room for him to do more, and so the fact that he had to go into like a healing pod kind of made the hype for Goku to come back even higher. And then also just the hype of Frieza getting the fuck out of that goofy ass chair like is undeniable. So you have these two just hyped ass moments kind of combining together. Now the ending here is, in my opinion, pretty interesting. We obviously get a bunch of character deaths, but our team wants to use the powers of both set of Dragon Balls, the Namekian set and also the Earth set too. Now this definitely feels, like I said before, kind of hacks, right? Like it's kind of like, okay, like technically there's two sets, so technically you can use them both, and technically you can res everyone and be cool, right? But here it actually feels good. It feels like they actually are being resourceful characters, because there is a moment where they're kind of talking back and forth of like deciding how they're going to do this. How are we going to resurrect these people? How is everyone going to be coming back? And there's this almost like kind of weird energy throughout the air where everyone's just like really thinking hard about shit. Like it actually feels like they're actually problem solving, which is weird to say because I feel like most anime problem solve by like either writing really fucking fast on a piece of paper or like beating the shit out of someone. And this one's actually just like a conversation between like friends, just communicating on how they're going to resolve issues. I don't know. It's like surprisingly wholesome for reviving someone after they die. So I will say Goku leaving at the end of the show, or just, you know, refusing to come back, really confused me, because obviously we know he's coming back. He's the main character. He's not just going to disappear and just leave his kid behind and shit, right? So, or maybe he would. I don't know. But I think this conclusion of ending it without Goku gives us a really, really big just kind of like question mark at the end of this. You know, the huge to be continued One Piece sign. It gives us that whole vibe, right? Because we know he's coming back, but we don't know why he's not coming back. We don't know when he's coming back. We don't know what he's going to look like when he comes back. We don't know anything. And I feel like that's a really, really good place to just kind of close things out. Overall, I think the ending for the saga is just like the previous ones, extremely well done. It just does a really good job at giving us kind of the conclusion to the saga that I feel was earned, but also giving us kind of one last thread to still hold on to for the next saga. It also does a great job of bringing back all the characters down to the home world with also the Namekians. Overall, I love this saga. I found it to be really enjoyable and honestly made me care about everyone. Before the saga, I definitely didn't care about everyone. I found myself only picking a handful of characters I actually really liked, cared about, or was genuinely concerned about if anything would happen to them. But now I have to say, honestly, really like pretty much every character. I enjoy everyone on our main roster. Also, just random rant here, I fucking love Tien, and I don't know why. I just wish we got more of him. I know he probably doesn't come anywhere near as strong as like Goku or Vegeta ends up being, right? But Tien and actually Piccolo too are the only two characters, at least so far, to be villains initially and then switched over to good guys. Vegeta, I think, does go that realm eventually, but I think his transition's a lot longer than how Piccolo and Tien's were, which were like 3 episodes of a transition. But going from the original Dragon Ball and having them as these like really intimidating villains to DBZ, having them as allies to Goku is really cool. So I just wish we got more of Tien. We get a lot of Piccolo here, so I'm not complaining about not getting enough of him, but I just wish we got more of Tien. I don't know. I'm probably in the super small minority that's actually giving a fuck about Tien at all for this series. I don't know, I just think he's really cool, and he's also one of the only characters that's like an actual human. Everyone is like a Super Saiyan or has like some sort of ability or just some sort of like hack or shit. He's the only one that, from the most part, is just like a person. Actually, I don't know, he has a fucking third eye, so what am I talking about? He might be, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore. Either way, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys staying up on my Dragon Ball Z videos. It means the world to me. Subscribe and like this video. I got the next part coming after this. I think it's the Android Trunk Saga coming after this, so we're gonna get into all that. So subscribe, like the video, and have a good one.